Okay, here we go. I have not recorded in a long time. So, here we go. This is a Porkchester. It's a figurine from my wife's collection of the Porkchesters. She tells me it's something she got when she was very young, one of the few gifts that her mother gave her that was like, that didn't serve a purpose except that she liked it. So it has a lot of sentimental value to her. Of the set, this one is my favorite. I couldn't tell you why. I don't know. But here we are. I'm going to paint it. I've already sketched it into a panel. There it is. Quick sketch. It's site size. And before I start to paint it, I am going to do a value study of it. That's why I've got these little boxes here. I'm going to do a value study of it. First thing I'm going to do is sketch in a small, well, the first thing I'm going to do is put out some paint. This is ivory black. This is Michael Harding's ivory black. And I'm going to mix it with raw umber, burnt umber, sorry. Michael Harding's burnt umber. The main reason that I mix it with burnt umber is that ivory black takes forever to dry, and I'm not cool with that. Additionally, ivory black is very cool in temperature, and the warmness of the burnt umber pulls it out of that coolness area on the color spectrum. I'm not measuring it. You saw I just threw 2 globs of paint there. I don't really know what this is going to look like once I mix white into it. I'm actually going to move it to my right. I don't know if you'll be able to see it from your angle there. And the reason I'm moving it to my right is because I like to follow the direction of the light on my palette. So the light is coming from my left towards the right. So as I mix white into this, you'll see the white on my left going into darkness, just like the light is going into darkness. if I look at this picture of this still life, I can see that this is slightly darker than what I see in real life. Everything is slightly darker. Not by a lot, but I noticed. I don't know if it comes up on camera. Let me take some of this black off first. You see me throwing paint across, garbage, it's going in here. And I'm missing my cloth. Here we go. What else do I need? That's it. So I'm going to do a sketch here, and then that'll depend whether or not I do another one here or not. We'll see. I'd like to have one black and white here and one color here. We'll see. And I'm using a short ivory flat brush by Rosemary and Company, size 3. All that moving around you saw was me getting my bearings. And I'm not trying to do a perfect drawing here. I'm allowing myself a little bit of grace. Because what's important to me is the value study. And again, I already did the sketch here. So there's a little muscle memory, a little familiarity with what's going on up here. And people may ask, why don't I just trace over one of these pictures? That's always an option. do what you want. But I paint and I draw and I sculpt because I enjoy this process. If you enjoy the process of tracing over a picture, then do that. Do whatever you want. Whatever's going on psychologically that allows me to enjoy this is that's what I'm chasing. I'm not a doctor. I don't know why I prefer to work in this manner. I just do. And it is just as valid as anyone who's going to work from a photo. So I can tell you already that my drawing is off, and I'm okay with it. And it's essentially in. That's it. That's what I wanted to do. You know, if I put in the two little eyes here, you'd swear I'm done. I'll prove it to you. See? Okay. So now I'm going to start to put in more information. And what I have here is I have the paper plane. Going across like that. No, wrong angle. Look at that. Oh, and I'm glad this happened. You see how I'm going over this other study that I did? It served its purpose. Like, I can paint over it, I can scribble over it, who cares? Okay. And then there's this band around the dress looks important to me. And now I'm going to put in the horizon, which happens to be this table back there. Okay. So what do we have? I got the back wall, I have the table, I have the white piece of paper, cast shadow, the figurine. That's it. I don't know how long that took. 4 minutes? right now I'm wiping my brush in a can full of turpentine. I've used everything from baby oil, safflower oil, mineral spirits, Gamsol, Rublev makes this product that I also use. I forgot what it was called. I've used terpenoid also. In my opinion, nothing works like turpentine. Is it toxic? Yes. Do I recommend working turpentine? No, it's toxic. Leave it alone. All right. So here we go. I need some white, and one of my favorite whites is a white by Natural Pigments. Called Lead White Titanium White or Titanium White Lead White. I don't know where it is. I gotta get up and look for it. So here it is, lead titanium white. It's kind of like, not kind of, it is a happy medium of the whites. It's not as cool as straight titanium, and it's not as warm as straight lead. It's not as transparent as lead. And it's not as opaque as titanium. Opaque. I gotta grab that one. Got it. Okay, so I got my two gloves, and I'm probably not going to use this brush for this. I'm going to use, I do want to use something big, or ish. So this is a size 2 pointed around. And I'll use this to mix on the palette and paint with. I recently took a workshop with an artist named Mark Carter in Austin, Texas. Look up his YouTube page. I think it's called Draw Paint. Or just type Mark Carter with a C, and it comes up right up. Draw Mix Paint, Draw Paint Mix, something like that. And he advocates doing your mixtures with a brush. You saw how before I mixed the burnt umber into the ivory black with the palette knife? He doesn't do that. So here we go. He does one of these things where he just picks up the paint and starts mixing with the brush. It's pretty cool. So I spent a week mixing with my brush, and now I'm sold. Yes, that's what I want to do. Mix with my brush all the time, or most of the time. So this looks a little light. You know, I'm going for a 5. That's way off. And if I had not mixed burnt umber into this mixture that we're both looking at right now would look way cooler than what we see here. It looks cool now, temperature-wise, cool, not awesome cool. So this is value 5 gray, and it's clearly lighter than that. So just gonna keep mixing my mixture into it, mixing my black into it until I get it right. And see, if I was using a palette knife, like I used to use a palette knife, this would be taking me a lot longer. Okay, see? I got it. There it is. Love it. Okay. And the temperature is different from what's up there. And you may be asking, oh, but if the background's already a temperature, a value 5, why are you bothering to paint it? Because as I paint the figure into the background, I'll be able to move the drawing around, firstly, and then after I move the drawing around, like this acts like an eraser. See, like I just erased the bottom of the ear with this paint. That's why it's there. I'll put it later. And I'm not trying to be perfect. This is just values. It's a poster study, but with values instead of color. So that page, it's a white piece of paper, standard white piece of paper. But since my light's coming from the left, the plane that's most perpendicular to the light is actually that racket. That racket is white. White. Anyway, I'm going to paint this. So I took classes at, well, not classes. I was a student at the Grand Central Atelier, and a lesson that I picked up there was to be cohesive in my movement across the surface. So I'm not going to bounce and paint the arm. You know, they would call that flying a helicopter over the form to paint the arm. I would either paint the figurine's back if I was going from right to left, or I would paint the front of the figurine if I was going from left to right. Or what I'm doing now, I'm going straight down. I'm going to paint the table, and then I'm going to paint the floor, the white page, as opposed to painting the background and then painting the white page and leaving it as blank. that table's pretty dark. See, I think that is way too dark. That's like stupid dark. But it's pretty close, I think. It's pretty close to that. I don't want it to be that dark, to be honest with you. So I'm going to grab a little more white. And here's a little tip for you. You see how I started mixing this from the dark because I'm in a dark area. Does that make sense? It's a shorter distance to get to the value that I'm looking for by starting with this dark area, this dark mass. I think that's it. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. And check this out. This is a mistake I used to make. I used to paint right over that dab that I was unhappy with. Don't do that. Take it off. I don't know who said it, but someone said that painting is as much about removing as it is as adding. Get rid of that. And I'm using a pretty stiff brush to pull that paint out. It's the same one I used to do the drawing. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and paint over that. Yeah, I like that. I had the luxury of studying at Pratt Institute, where painting from my shoulder was drilled into us. I really am thankful for that experience and those lessons. Paint from your shoulder, people. You actually move faster painting from your shoulder. It's a gross motor movement. Okay. Now, you see this brush that's full of paint? I dip it right into my can of turpentine. Let the liquid, let the turpentine do the work. See? And then I take the turpentine off with my rag. And I move on to the next object, which is the page. Now, I'm gonna get rid of that dark. It's just too dark. Now I remember what I said about the whitest part on this painting being the racket. So just for context, I'm putting the white there. So I know that that page that this figurine is on is darker than that. So I'm gonna pick up some paint, I'm gonna grab some black. Now, there's something else white nearby, and it's those shoes, those boots, or whatever you want to call them. And those shoes and boots look whiter than the page. So I need to give myself space to do that by making the white of the page not as white as the white of the shoes. Now, I am going to switch gears because I should be practicing my Spanish, which I'm forgetting. So sad. Y lo que voy a hacer ahora es pintar la página. La página es blanca. Pero no es un blanco puro. El blanco puro lo estoy guardando para este pedazo aquí, el tennis racket. No sé cómo se dice eso en español. Voy a tener que buscarlo, esa palabra, tennis racket. Y me está pareciendo un poco oscuro, pero yo creo que estoy bien. Y ahora voy a pintar. No, voy a pintar los zapatos, que son blancos también. Estoy sacando la pintura esta de la página en una lata que tengo llena de turpentine. Esta lata tiene turpentine. Saca la pintura bien rápido. ¿Tú ves? Y lo seco un poco con mi trapo y sigo pintando. Busco aquí la pintura blanca. Y ahí está para los zapatos blancos que van ahí. Y ahora voy a pintar la sombra de la figurina. La sombra de la figurina es más oscuro que la pared. Esta pared tiene un value 5. Esto es más oscuro, este value 5. Lo voy a coger un poco de negro y mezclar el blanco ahí. Y voy a seguir metiéndole blanco hasta cuando termine con el value entre medio, el 5 y hasta aquí que parece, no sé, parece un 3, un 2. Vamos a ver cómo parece. puede ser muy oscuro. Creo que no. Creo que este está bien. La sombra sigue para allá. Eso está ahí. Y recuerda, esto es solamente un estudio de la luz en blanco y negro. No quiero, tengo que seguir pintando con cuidado porque no quiero perder el dibujo que hice ahí. Este estudio me va a ayudar a mantener los colores cuando empiece a meter los colores. Porque la función de color, función, yo no creo que sea una palabra. Foundation. La función de color es value. Ok, por aquí sigo. A este cachete. Pinto la frente. Esta frente. Y sigo a la oreja. La próxima oreja. De verdad pienso que no hay mucho más sombra. Así el brazo tiene sombra. Y este traje tiene un poco de sombra aquí. Y ya. Ok. Esto me parece difícil. Ese traje es blanco, pero no es tan blanco como la jaqueta. Este pedacito aquí del traje es casi el color de la jaqueta. Y también este pedazo aquí. Pero lo otro no. No se lo puedo hacer. Encontré ahí un poquito de negro. Se lo metí en la mezcla. No es tan gris como este aquí. Vamos a ver con qué terminamos. Esto. Me quedo con este. Ok. Y me parece que la figurina es el mismo value. Que voy a sacarle de blanco un poco. Seco el turpentine con mi trapo, ahora me muevo a este color aquí, un poquito más oscuro. Ok, voy a tener que pintarle de aquí así, así un poquito. Ok. Y te recuerdas ahorita cuando empecé le dije la razón por usar el color de la pared, que se puede usar como para borrar. Mire, esa oreja a la izquierda me salió muy grande. Ahora puedo con este color que está aquí. Estuve como borrar. Le di un poco de shape. Y puedo hacer lo mismo aquí. Y lo que yo usé ahora es Esta parte aquí es negra, negra, negra. Me gusta porque puedo usarlo como un acento para empujar la página que es blanca. Y ahora usted puede ver que yo cambié como estoy pintando. Estaba pintando del hombro y ahora estoy pintando del wrist. ¿Cómo se dice wrist? Ustedes me van a ayudar a mí a hablar español mejor. Cuando tenga mis 50 videos voy a estar hablando profesional. Okay. Voy a buscar un pincel más pequeño que este y para hacer esto suavecito. Y eso es un value study. Esto es lo que yo voy a usar para poder decidir mis colores. Yo prefiero esto que esto. Pero lo uso yo, ¿por qué no? Porque este pincel es un Monarch Round, Windsor Newton. Y lo que quiero hacer es sacarle mover la pintura que no sea tan brusca. No sé si se puede ver en el video, pero la pintura que yo apliqué aquí tiene mucha, es muy gorda, muy thick, no sé qué es la palabra. Y ahora aquí es donde se hace la magia. Exactamente donde la luz encuentra la sombra. Yo antes trataba de pintar con la luz natural, luz del sol, pero cambia tanto y yo pinto tan lentamente, que no era bueno para yo aprender cómo pintar. Ahora estoy usando la luz artificial, que nunca se mueve, no cambia de temperatura. Prefiero esa luz para lo que yo hago. Un día, cuando sea mejor, cambio para atrás a la luz natural. Voy a cerrar esto aquí porque no me cae bien. Y pienso que la luz que más apagada. Usted puede ver que estoy manejando la pintura más suave.